We have some breaking news out of Ohio we want to share right now as the retrial in the pizza delivery murder case for Erica Stefanko is being delayed due to COVID. The prosecution just informed the court a short time ago. Let's go into the courtroom and see what was said.
I was coughing and my throat is scratchy and I am short of breath. I did come prepared to go if that was the route we were going to take. However, I did let the judicial attorney know I would ask for a continuance based on the ailments that counsel for the state, the positive COVID and my potential symptoms, and the fact that lead counsel is not present, Your Honor. The state asked for a continuance of approximately 30 days, Your Honor.
Why do you feel 30 days is necessary?
Your Honor, 30 days based on the guidelines that once you have a positive test, you have to quarantine for 5 days. I believe you must wear a mask for 5 days until you're symptom-free. And then the other engagements that the state made the court aware of prior to trial starting.
So the state's not available. It'd be the state's requesting 30 days because of the state schedule.
Correct.
Okay, I'll hear from defense. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Thank you. May it please the court. We're sorry to hear about Mr. Loprinzi. We also hope that Ms. Easter is okay. We are opposed to a continuance, certainly of 30 days. Ms. Stefanko has waited a long time for this retrial. We're here today. We're ready to go. That said, we are not unsympathetic to illness, and especially an illness of this nature, which could potentially lead to juror infection and spread and continue the trial for a lot longer than 30 days. If the court is not inclined to start up right now, and again, the defense would understand why not, we would suggest and we would be okay with playing it day by day, keeping this jury impaneled, and should Mr. Loprinzi and God forbid Ms. Easter get it and then test negative at that first available date after a negative test, assuming no other issues, we would ask that the trial start back up. So be that later this week or early next week, I think would be realistic. We would be fine with that.
So obviously, the court sympathizes, of course, with Prosecutor Easter and Prosecutor Loprinzi. My other concern, and I am going to, when we bring the jury in, I am going to notify them only because we were all on a jury view Friday for, I don't know, approximately 3.5 hours in the same van. So I do want to let the jurors know. And again, the court's going to deny the request for a 30-day continuance. And if the parties are agreeable to this idea, what I would like to do is go day by day. I would ask Prosecutor Loprinzi to test every night at 6 p.m., notify my judicial attorney of the results of his test, and then we would let the jurors know by 8 p.m. whether or not to report the next morning. I am very concerned about granting a 30-day continuance when there's so much media coverage. And also, you know, we've impaneled the jury. We've told them this would be 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm not comfortable putting their lives on hold, or the defendant who has a right to go to trial, and the defense is ready to go to trial today. Would the parties be agreeable to that? And as soon as we have a negative test or Prosecutor Easter is able to breathe better, we could move forward that next morning?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
That sounds reasonable to us, Judge.
Is that reasonable? Yes. Okay, I'm going to have Adam bring in the jury now. Is there anything else we need to put on the record before they're brought in?
No, Your Honor.
So I do want the parties to be aware the minute that we have a negative test, we're going to be ready to move forward.
Sure. We're ready.
And is everyone here feeling symptom-free at this point who was on the jury view?
The defense side is so far.
Detective Hitchings? Fine, okay. The court's also fine.
All rise.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, do we have all of our jurors? Wonderful, thank you. Go ahead and take a seat. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Thank you so much for reporting this morning on time. I know the weather's not great. We appreciate everything you're doing to make it here. The court did want to let you know there's been a situation going on. As you know, we all went on our jury view Friday. I think it was about approximately 3.5 hours we spent together on the bus going to 5 different locations. Unfortunately, the court was notified late yesterday around 8:45 p.m. that lead prosecutor Brian Laprenzi has tested positive for COVID. And I just want to let you all know that, obviously, because we were together. I think, Adam, we have masks in case anyone, if you want a mask, please feel free. Adam's going to pass those around. So did want to let you know that. And unfortunately, Prosecutor Easter is also not feeling well. She has not tested positive. She tested negative. That being said, what the court is going to do out of an abundance of caution for everyone's safety, but also, within the guidelines of what we can do to not delay this trial. So unfortunately, we are not going to be able to move forward this morning. What I'm asking Prosecutor Laprenzi to do is to test every evening at 6 p.m. Once he has that test, either my bailiff or my judicial attorney is going to call each of you to tell you whether you need to report the next morning. The state has asked for a 30-day continuance, which I have denied. I'm not going to continue this case that long. You've already been impaneled. Obviously, you have to put your lives on hold, your jobs, your family every day. So we want to be very cognizant of that fact. So every night, we're going to have him test. We're going to call you immediately to let you need to know if you need to report the next morning, okay? And is there anyone else here who's feeling ill, just in case? Okay, not feeling great? Okay. So that is the plan now. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go over again the admonition for what you need to do now that we're not going forward this morning. As you know, it's very important for you to be fair and attentive throughout the trial, and that includes all of our alternatives, of course. Do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else. This includes family, friends, and the media. You must not post or read anything about this case on the internet or on any electric device, including cell phones. That would include social networking sites, blogs, Facebook, X, Instagram, Snapchat, any of the social media networks. Any such discussions, if discovered, could lead to a mistrial. It would severely compromise the parties' rights to a fair trial. We've talked about that so many times. I know you all understand. Again, do not permit anyone to discuss this case with you or in your presence. Do not form or express any opinion on this case until it is finally submitted to you. Again, among yourselves, it's difficult to understand that you can't talk about this case with each other until it's finally submitted to you. But again, once we return, as soon as everyone is able to return, and we truly would not have stopped today unless they were truly unable to. Prosecutor Easter is having a hard time breathing, and without her lead counsel, it would not be fair to go forward. So when we do go forward, though, you will receive the opening statements, the evidence, and then the closing arguments and the law in that order. Again, you need to explain this rule prohibiting discussion of the case to your family and friends. When the trial is finally over, I will release you from this prohibition. And at that time, you may, but you are not required to discuss the case and your experience as a juror. That's an individual decision you can make at that time. Again, you're not instructed to talk with the attorneys, the parties, witnesses, or anyone else during the trial. Likewise, they must not talk with you. You must also not talk with anyone else about the case during your deliberations. In addition, you should report the outside source of information to the bailiff or the court at the first opportunity if anyone were to try to discuss it with you. As we've talked, these proceedings may be broadcast, photographed, or recorded by members of the news media. You must not allow this fact to divert your attention from the case or to interfere with your duties as jurors. Further, you are not allowed to talk to members of the media during the trial. So again, I caution everyone not to discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else. Do not.
All right, so we're going to take it day by day is what the judge is saying. And just for some clarity, some of you have been asking me on Twitter or X what the situation is. So the lead prosecutor is not present today because he has tested positive for COVID. You heard his last name mentioned. It's Laprinzi. He was the prosecutor who led the case last time at the first trial, got the conviction. He's going to be leading it this time. So he is COVID positive. And his assistant prosecutor, who you heard addressing the court right at the start of the hearing, who said she's got a scratchy throat, not feeling well, she's presenting with some symptoms that are concerning. So we don't know about that yet. So that is the clarification on that. But in abundance of caution, that's why the state was asking for the delay. The judge didn't agree with 30 days as they've already gone on that jury view, and they had a heck of a time seating that jury in the first place. So we'll keep you posted on that. As you know, our team is there.